Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Men's Advanced Bible Study, the 31st of October, 2025. Okay. I'll be dealing with a video that I came across that's tied to the book of Enoch, and it's tied to Metatron. And I wanted to bring that out because of it's a lot of people don't understand what these people have done to with our scriptures, especially when doing the third beast, when Greeks came, when our scriptures got Hellenized. So I want to play that, and we're going to go through that video and break it down. So we shine light on a bunch of things, okay? So let me get this right quick. Yeah, shine light on some things with that video, okay? You can go to our YouTube, to our channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, examine, and get the meat out. These videos will lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated, okay? Now, we have our Cash App at the bottom of the screen for those that want to support the channel and help it move along. That too will be greatly appreciated, okay? We have two other channels. We have our non-Messianic channel, which we are on there on Tuesday nights for our Men's Advanced Bible Study. That's every Tuesday night, 7 to 9. You want to check that out. Then we have our women's sister channel, which is Israel Wake Up. And we're on that every Thursday night for our Women's Advanced Bible Study. Okay, and we have some maybe I think 80 so far, 75 to 80 videos you can check out, get the meat out, okay, leave the bone. This channel, for those that don't know, is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah, Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Savior and our Redeemer, our Deliverer, the Lord of Hosts, okay? This channel was created to aid and assist all Hebrews who are waking up in these last days to their true identity and also understanding who their Savior and their Redeemer truly is, okay? Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our Men's Advanced Bible Study. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, a prayer, we have Psalms, then we'll do some current events, need to know information, and then I'll open it up for anybody with any questions, comments, any dialogue, or testimonies. Then we're going to deal with our topic for discussion, which is I'll be dealing with the phrase that's been pushed around the last couple of years or so. We see it coming to pass is that the world, as we know it, and the people in it, gonna own nothing, but they're gonna be happy. So we're gonna talk about that, play the video, and we're gonna deal with that. And then, like I said, our scripture reference about the scriptures, we'll be dealing with the book of Enoch, and we'll be dealing with, I'm thinking it's third Enoch, Metatron. I want to play that, but I want your ears to hear and your eyes to see how these people come, a lot of things that we're dealing with today that's not true, how they came about, okay? Then we're going to pick a scripture like we normally do, and we're going to read that scripture. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it, and then we'll close out, okay? And that'll be it. So this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we come before thee at this hour, praising you and honoring you because of your position, both in heaven and upon earth, a position in which Creator Yahweh have given unto thee. And through your spirit and counsel, O Lord, we have awakened. We have awakened to know who we are as a people and who you are as our Savior and our Redeemer. And we are thankful for all that you have done, and we are eagerly searching your scriptures out, that we may be in the right place at the right time upon your arrival to this planet. And we love you and we seek you daily, O Lord. There is none else besides thee to redeem us. We see you in the affairs of the world, and we faithfully await your deliverance. Peace be unto you. Okay. So I'm gonna say shalom to the brothers. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna read Psalms right quick. Okay. Read the Psalms right quick. Okay. I read Psalms 2. It says, "Or why do the heathen rage? Why do the heathen rage when the people imagine a vain thing? Kings of the earth set themselves." Okay. You want to read that, AJ? I'm tripping, man. You got something you want to read?
Oh, shalom, brother. I'll read some too.
Okay, go ahead.
When it says, why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh; the Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon the holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with the rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. And shalom, that was Psalms 2.
Okay, you got any feedback on that? Or
Oh, and Brother Leonard in verse 2, the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed. That is that like Psalms 83? Is this kind of like precept to that?
Psalm 33?
Psalms 83. The
Oh, uh,
Confederacy.
yeah. You can look at that. And also, you can look at. Let me look at that. That was verse. That was Psalm chapter 2. Psalm 2, right?
Yes, sir. 2 and 2.
Yeah. So when it says in verse 6, yet
Mm-hmm.
I have, yet I have set my king upon my holy hill. So you can also look at that as the kings setting themselves against David too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Against his anointing. Yeah. So
Okay.
that way too. Yeah. Okay. So with that being said, you tie your shoes up. You got to go for a ride tonight. Okay. We're gonna start with our current event. You're the first one. Everybody familiar with what just happened with Jamaica, right?
Experience. I don't think we can't even describe it fully.
The building itself started to shake like it was an earthquake. At one time, we couldn't see anything outside. We were wondering if it's a tsunami out there.
We gave up. Basically, you have nowhere to hide, and it's all gone. And so everything.
So if you go to YouTube and take out the aftermath of this Melissa, the Hurricane Melissa, what they done in Jamaica, we in the same predicament and probably even worse than what they done in New Orleans. So it's like it's nothing left. So we know what happened in New Orleans. They ended up shipping the people out of there, all different parts of the United States. Okay.
He just started to fly away.
This roof was gone. Everything gone. Everything. That's my baby. I have to run out with my baby.
So
Nothing
you carried him.
in my hand.
So you're telling me you stood on this toilet? I was saved by a toilet.
Yes, okay. We thought the rescue team would be like yesterday, like it's been 2 days.
This is the root. They're using a call. Amazon's top 100. Bandage up an injury. Now that's one thing that the hospital here in Black River says has not come quite yet because there are so many roads that are blocked. It's so difficult to get here. They know that in the community, in this parish, in the surrounding area, that there are going to be a lot of injuries, but they just haven't been able to make it into the hospital yet to get treatment. And so they're preparing the best they can, but they have nothing here. And by nothing, I mean no food, no water, no electricity. This is the generator that went out. All the electrical components that the generator needs to energize the hospital was destroyed. This was the backup plan. This was what was going to run the electricity and the water that they expected to have at least 72 hours of fresh water. But at this point, they have no hours of fresh water, and it's 2 days on past the hurricane. So the desperation continues to raise with every hour that passes. Now, they do have helicopters flying in right across the street from the hospital to bring in supplies to here in Black River, and then they're taking patients away to Mandeville. But this is such a critical hospital for this area. It's, according to administrators here, around 180,000 people or so that they manage.
Hungry you are. As desperation grows, so does the fear. These are medical students from India, stranded, living in the wreckage of their school. No staff, no guidance, just kids trying to get home.
This is where we are so before, during the day, after the storm, it was full of mud and clay. And so we came back and we cleaned everything all the thing broken, all the thing broken.
Not like before Melissa.
So this is everything. All the part that's there is the concrete part. Those parts it was concrete. You understand?
Okay. Anybody got any comments on that? Anybody seen these videos or into the aftermath?
Yeah, I seen it, Mr. Leonard. And the aftermath, they said it was, I seen a guy from Jamaica was talking about it, and he said it's part of that 2030 when they trying to make smart cities. You know, it's
Okay.
almost like it's a destruction just to make smart cities and start all over. Kind of like what they did with Hawaii. Remember Hawaii got hit with them lasers and they said they had the blue roofs. All the houses got destroyed except for the houses that had the blue roofs. Remember that?
Yeah.
So that's what they're saying. By 2030, this Jamaican guy was bringing up, he had all the documents talking about they trying to turn it into smart cities.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to check that out and go a little further in it on the next couple of passages. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Shalom, everybody.
Right.
Shalom, AJ. Shalom, Mr. Leonard.
Okay. Shalom. Shalom. Anybody else got anything? You got anything, AJ?
Shalom. To second that, what I seen too, a lot of behind a lot of these natural disasters that been happening, like even the hurricane that was like out this way, like Asheville or whatever. The wildfires in LA. They even got some stuff here in the Carolinas. They got a smart city they supposed to be making in Myrtle Beach. And all those places, even in LA for the Olympics or whatever, it's supposed to be a smart city they're building there, you know, and it's exactly like the site that's planned for it kind of lines up exactly where the fires were. So it seems like they're doing that everywhere, like having, you know, using the harps or whatever they're using, and then to be able to clear the way for them to build whatever they want to build.
Okay. And then some?
Right, yes, sir.
Okay, here we go.
The video on the Heritage Foundation and Trump Gang's Project 2025 last year, and a solid amount of y'all saw it. Now, I'm following up 9 months into the start of Trump's presidency with some pretty trash-ass news. You all saw the title. To be precise, they're 48% of the way through Project 2025, with the most recent piece falling into place a couple weeks ago. To everybody on the OG video trying to tell me Trump claimed Project 2025 wasn't his plan on the campaign trail and told me I was making shit up. I know y'all got sore knees in the Oval Office right now, but I need y'all's undivided attention while I take the saddest victory lap of my life. I'm using the Project 2025 Observer Live Tracker. They provide sources for every claim they make, like me. The little red gavel means there's a court order, and keep in mind that just because a court blocked it, that doesn't mean an appeals court can't flip it real soon. This halftime show was made possible by today's video sponsor, Aura. Let's get it. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They no longer process transgender identity data, and they've been directed to promote fertility-based awareness methods instead of contraception. This admin does not like queer people or science. And in JD's own words, I want more babies. They're also planning to implement studies into the risks and complications of abortion, correct so-called misinformation about abortion being safe in comparison to the complications of childbirth, stop them from evaluating any social impacts of anything, and cut funds to states that don't provide detailed abortion reports. Just in case y'all weren't aware, JD's already getting his wish for more babies, but he's also getting more preventable deaths to go along with it. For a full film about that, check out my collab with Deja Sade that goes into several maternal mortality cases right here in Georgia. The Department of Agriculture, aka the USDA. I was just talking about this. Project 2025 wanted stricter work requirements on SNAP, the government's federal food assistance program. The government just ended up cutting it as part of the shutdown anyway. What are those work requirements? 80 hours per month. This mostly applies to single people who aren't disabled in any way, acting as caretakers for someone else, or fulfilling the work requirements in another program. Now, for those thinking that ain't that bad, you should have to work to get food benefits. I feel like you've either never had a minimum wage job before, or you forgot that they can often cut your hours whenever the hell they want to, and jobs offered through any federal registration database aren't in large supply. Don't get it twisted. This is an intentional effort to starve out millions of people. The shutdown is proving that right now. We got TSA agents that can't afford to feed their families. They also took us out of the UN World Food Program, increased logging activities, aka cutting down trees, to manage wildfires. It's just a creative way to say we love deforestation. Killed the updates to the Thrifty Food Plan, which is used to calculate SNAP benefits and would have included more people in the program, and fired everyone working at the Low Income Heat and Energy Assistance Program. They hired one back though, so that should fix it, right? Stuff that's on deck at the Department of Agriculture includes more restrictions on who's eligible for SNAP, preventing schools from grouping together to get additional benefits for their students, repealing several programs designed to increase access to food, repealing the mandate to label fake food, weakening regulations on the shit you feed your babies with. It's a long list. The Department of Commerce. Remember how I said this admin hates science and queer people? Let's keep that rolling and add animals, racial minorities, and immigrants. Here's the stuff they've already completed. Banning the Census Scientific Advisory Committee and Advisory Committee on Racial, Ethnic, and Other Populations, because we don't matter. And lessening protections for marine life. Fuck them fish. Very recently, I told y'all about the floods in Texas. More specifically, how big oil and Republicans killed dozens of people there this summer. A big reason that happened is the massive layoffs in these two offices. Right here, the Office of Oceanic and Atmospheric Research, and firings in the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. There's consequences when you get rid of the people whose job it is to warn people to get the fuck out of the city when a natural disaster is happening. These loser-ass idiots have an obsession with space, like that loser-ass idiot at Tesla. So they want to elevate the Office of Space Commerce for no real reason, while focusing census outreach on conservative groups. What? Why? The stats on YouTube say that most people don't even make it to this point in the video. So y'all tell me if this felt too short, too long, whatever. I got a part.
Okay. Any feedback on that? What do you think?
Yeah, Mr. Leonard. JD Vance kind of sound like a little bit of Hitler, right? We want
Okay,
the white race. We got to get our children. You know, they got to do it. They freezing eggs and everything else that's going on right now.
okay,
They got to get those people, them numbers back up. And the Most High said that them numbers was going to drop, correct?
exactly. Yeah, they recessive themselves. Not let's not their genes. They recessive. So yeah, it's just only understandable. You got anything, AJ?
Shalom. To that point that both of y'all made, Brother Leonard, I lately I look at the birth rate of the nations, and yeah, they're all like at like all-time lows.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a lot. Yeah, in other countries, they even paying people to have children, because the numbers ain't what they need them to be for the future.
And
Exactly.
it's happening the same way in Japan and all these other countries. The Japanese men are going outside. They're not dealing with each other anymore. It's like it's happening worldwide.
Right. Yes,
Right.
sir. Hmm.
Exactly. Right. And like I say, when you go back to the scriptures and you rightly divide the things that was given to us in the beginning, we see why. Because of, like I said, the DNA makes them that way. The man or the men that the Most High dealing with, they don't have a problem with reproducing. It's the people outside of that. And so it's just scripture coming to pass. That's all we're looking at. Right?
All praise.
Exactly. So I got some need to know information right here. I thought this was pretty big. Let me check it out.
Forbes, Yale, Harvard. You know these names. What you don't know, they all got rich the exact same way. Flooding China with opium, thousands of tons, millions addicted, 400% profit. And then they spent 200 years making sure you'd never find out. Until now, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the president on Mount Rushmore, the man who saved America from the Great Depression. His family fortune came from selling drugs, hard drugs, opium, millions of addicts, millions dead. And the Roosevelts got rich, very rich. And they weren't alone. The Astors, the wealthiest family in America. Drug money, Forbes magazine, built on opium profits. Yale's Skull and Bones, funded by drug smugglers. Harvard buildings, paid for with Chinese opium silver. Some of the most powerful families in American history, the institutions that educate our leaders, the dynasties that still run this country, all of it was built by flooding China with drugs, industrial scale, thousands of tons, 400% profit margins. And then they buried the evidence, rewrote the history books, built libraries and museums with the blood money, and made sure you'd never find out until now, because the shipping records exist, the letters survive, the account books are in archives. And what they reveal is that America's aristocracy, the families we're taught to respect, made their fortunes doing exactly what we imprison people for today, except they did it to an entire country, poisoned millions, destroyed the Chinese economy, and got so rich they could erase it from history. This is the story they don't want you to know. The drug dealers who became American royalty, and how they got away with it for 200 years. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, 32nd President of the United States, led America through the Great Depression and World War II. His face is on Mount Rushmore alongside Washington, Jefferson, and Lincoln. An American hero. But here's what they don't teach you in school. The fortune that funded FDR's privileged upbringing, his education at Harvard, his entry into politics, all of it came from drug money. His grandfather, Warren Delano II, made millions smuggling opium into China. Millions of Chinese became addicted. Millions died. And the Delano family got rich, very rich. And they weren't alone. The Astors, the richest family in America in the 1800s, opium money, the Forbes family. Yes, that Forbes built their publishing empire on opium profits. The Perkins family funded Yale University with opium money. The Cabot family, Boston Brahmins, opium traders. The Russell family founded Skull and Bones at Yale University. Opium smugglers. Some of the most powerful, most respected, most influential families in American history built their fortunes selling drugs, not just participating, dominating. American companies controlled 10% of the opium trade into China by the 1830s. We're talking tons of opium, hundreds of millions of dollars, an entire generation of Chinese destroyed by addiction, American families got so rich they founded universities, museums, and political dynasties that still run the country today. This is the story no one tells. How America's elite families made their fortunes in the opium trade, how they whitewashed that history, and how the same families that got rich selling drugs then spent a century criminalizing drugs for everyone else. The hypocrisy is staggering, and the proof is undeniable. Before we go through the families, you need to understand what the opium trade actually was, not the sanitized museum version, the reality. In the early 1800s, Britain had a problem. They were buying massive amounts of tea, silk, and porcelain from China, but China didn't want anything Britain produced. So Britain was paying in silver, draining their reserves. They needed something to sell to China, something Chinese people would buy in massive quantities. They found it, opium, grown in British-controlled India, refined into smokable form and smuggled into China where it was illegal. The Chinese government had banned opium. They knew it was poison, but British and American traders didn't care. The profit margins were 400, 500%. You could buy opium in India for $100, smuggle it into China, and sell it for $500, $600. Risk was high. Chinese authority.
If you've been craving that rich, comforting taste,
smugglers have caught, but the profits were worth it, and American families wanted in, because American ships were faster than British ships, clipper ships, built for speed, perfect for outrunning Chinese naval patrols and delivering opium to secret coastal locations. American captains would sail to British India, load up with thousands of pounds of opium, sail to the Chinese coast, and wait offshore at designated anchorage points. Chinese smugglers would row out in small boats, take the opium, pay in silver. The American ships never technically entered Chinese ports, plausible deniability, and the silver flowed back to America, tons of it. This went on for decades, 1800s to 1840s before the Opium Wars, then continued after. Millions of Chinese became addicted. The Chinese economy was devastated. Silver was flowing out of China into British and American coffers. And in America, the families getting rich from this.
Does it remind you anything?
Yeah, it do remind me of some things, and like I think about back in the 80s. Remember the 80s and maybe the early 90s.
Right,
I'm gonna get back to the reminding, but remember when China was sending over these toys that was toxic for kids?
right,
And then they came over here and they the ones that brought fentanyl and all this other stuff over here too.
right,
It's like a get back from what they did.
right. It seems like to me they got a blueprint. So the same thing they did right there. The Chinese, they brought it here to Harlem, to Chicago. We was thriving then, and
Yes,
that's what
sir.
took
The
us out.
crack epidemic.
Right. They got that took us out.
Yes,
And
sir. Same,
it's still the same thing going on right now.
exactly, with the fentanyl and all of that. And then they
One
saying that,
drug after
well,
another.
remember you were saying, Mr. Leonard, about the Chinese national, or what was that Chinese party you was telling me about that was coming over here infiltrating, and it's part of like the shit, it was a movement of them, part of the like the wo- the women's movements and all that other stuff, but they
Right,
had something to do with the Chinese. They had a liberal Chinese liberation or
right,
something that was going over here in America, and it's all
right.
tied to them.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Right. So it ain't nothing new under the sun. They still doing the same thing. They're killing two birds with one stone. They'll wipe the people out, and at the same time they get rich, filthy rich. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
and he giving you, I mean, and the same very same people, we got them on our walls as heroes, like
Yep.
like JC.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Because remember the Japanese, the Asian woman that they caught over here in the White House, that was a spy, and she was messing with or married to one of the guys, or messing with one of the guys in government. Remember that scandal that went on?
right.
Yes, sir. So
You
it's
know,
all working together, like Edom do. Like you said, a slow demolition.
right. It is
Edom is
evil.
behind it. Yes, sir.
Notice what he just said about the Deuteronomy 28:68 said that we was gonna come here by ships, and he just told you they had this ship they had concocted called a clipper ship that was bringing in all the heroin the opium into China. So the opium trade was funded by ships, just like we was brought here by ships.
And Edom was behind it because they brought us over here.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what people don't. A lot of people, and then you got Negroes hollering that the Edomite was done away with in the book of Obadiah. Okay.
And your taxes is going up every year. And them people over there getting free money and they have to have no jobs over there on the other side of the ditch in Israel. Them clowns that say they are us. Revelations 2:9. I know those who say they are Jews but are not, but the synagogue of Satan. Come on.
Ain't that song? Yeah, I'm playing a little bit more of this and then we'll move on.
Panic of 1857, he could go back to China, make another fortune in opium, and return even wealthier. His daughter, Sarah Delano, married James Roosevelt. Their son was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. FDR grew up in wealth, private tutors, Harvard, political connections, all funded by opium money. And here's the kicker. In 1935, while FDR was president, he signed the first federal laws strictly controlling drugs, the Marijuana Tax Act precursor and expansion of narcotic controls. The man whose family fortune came from selling drugs to Chinese people spent his presidency criminalizing drugs for Americans. The irony is thick. Now let's look at the Astors. John Jacob Astor, at one point the richest man in America. His wealth built the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, funded libraries, created a dynasty. Where did the money come from? Furs, right? That's the story. He traded furs, true, but that's not where the real money came from. Opium. John Jacob Astor's ships sailed to China starting in 1800. His ship, the Macedonian, made regular opium runs. Astor didn't just trade furs for Chinese goods. He traded Turkish opium for Chinese silver, then used that silver to buy furs, tea, and silk. The opium trade was the profitable leg that made everything else work. By 1840, Astor was worth $20 million. That's $500 million in today's money, most of it from opium profits. His great-grandson, John Jacob Astor IV, died on the Titanic as one of the richest men in the world. That wealth, built on opium, the Astor family name is on libraries, museums, university buildings, all of it funded by drug money from China. The Forbes family, yes, that Forbes. Malcolm Forbes, the magazine publisher billionaire, his family fortune started in China. The Forbes family of Boston sent ships to China in the early 1800s. Robert Bennett Forbes and his brother John Murray Forbes were major opium traders. They worked with Russell and Company, the same firm Warren Delano worked for. Robert Forbes captained clipper ships that carried opium. John Forbes invested the profits into railroads and became one of the wealthiest men in Boston. Their descendants used that wealth to start Forbes magazine. The family became American aristocracy, and it all started with opium. John Murray Forbes is celebrated in Boston as a great businessman and philanthropist. There are statues of him, buildings named after him. No one mentions the opium. It's been scrubbed from the official history. The Perkins family, Thomas Handesett Perkins, T.H. Perkins, as he was known in Boston, one of the wealthiest men in New England in the 1800s, funded hospitals, asylums, schools. How did he make his money? Opium. Perkins was a founding partner of Perkins and Company, which later merged with Russell and Company. He ran opium from Turkey and India to China for decades, made millions, then retired to Boston and became a respected philanthropist. Yale University's Perkins Fellowship.
Yeah, two things that stick out to me. Like I said, what people don't understand is that 13 colonies. They always talk about it in our giving us when we young, when we go to the history books, that them Edomites. And notice all these people they talking about this selling this heroin and got all this money illegally. They all up around where the original Boston map, where the original 13 colonies was at. They all Edomites. And it's still going on to this very day. Surrounding okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say you're right, Mr. Leonard. And the thing about it is, there's nothing new under the sun. He said this was gonna happen, and then nothing new under the sun, and what was will be. And you see how they was buying that opium or all that stuff, silver. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And That's just the way it's going to be too. But yeah, wicked eat them, and that's what he's doing. He's gathering everything too, as far
Right.
as all the material things that's ours.
Exactly. So they just like this, just like back then, today they manipulating them same. They manipulating the silver and the gold. Then they manipulating it now. That's how they work. Okay, and that's why the Chinese doing what they do. The Chinese in these other countries, BRICS, they got their number. Okay.
That's why they were sending all them drugs to America from China, because you sent it to us, messed us up. Everybody got beef with America.
Exactly. Ain't that something?
Named after the family, funded by opium money. The Perkins School for the Blind in Boston, opium money. Thomas Perkins is remembered as a great man. The opium part is a footnote, if mentioned at all. The Russell family. Samuel Russell founded Russell and Company in 1823. It became the dominant American opium trading firm in China. Russell made an enormous fortune, retired to Connecticut, and in 1832 his
Connecticut, like I said, it's all up there around the 13 colonies, and they still there to this day. And then Negroes want to holler that we was over here. Come on, man, meet him.
cousin William Huntington Russell co-founded Skull and Bones at Yale University. Skull and Bones, the secret society that has produced presidents, Supreme Court justices, CIA directors, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, John Kerry, all bonesmen. The Russell family fortune that helped establish Yale's most powerful secret society came from opium. Samuel Russell's money also helped fund the Russell Trust, which still funds Skull and Bones operations today. The most powerful secret society in America was built on Chinese opium money. The Cabot family, Boston Brahmins, old money, respected. Their wealth came from trading with China in the early 1800s. Guess what they traded? Opium. The Cabot family name is everywhere in Boston. Cabot House at Harvard, streets named Cabot, but the opium connection is never mentioned. The Low family, Abiel Abbott Low, another prominent opium trader, ran clipper ships to China, made millions. His son, Seth Low, became president of Columbia University and mayor of New York City. The family donated money to build Low Memorial Library at Columbia. Opium money built an Ivy League library. Here's the pattern. American families go to China in the early 1800s. They work for opium trading firms or start their own. They make enormous fortunes smuggling opium. They return to America. They invest in railroads, real estate, and legitimate businesses. They become respectable. They fund universities, museums, libraries, and hospitals. They erase the opium connection from their family histories. Their descendants become American aristocracy, and no one talks about where the money came from. This wasn't small scale. By the 1830s, American firms controlled about 10% of the opium flowing into China. British firms controlled most of the rest, but Americans were significant players. Russell and Company alone shipped thousands of chests of opium annually. Each chest contained about 140 pounds. Letters, account books, historical archives in China, Britain, and America. Researchers have documented it. Books have been written. The Delano Influence by Daniel W. Delano. When America First Met China by Eric J. Dolan. The Opium Clippers by Basil Lubbock. Yankee Traders, Old Coasters, and African Middlemen by George E. Brooks Jr. The proof exists, but it's not taught in schools. It's not in the museums. The average American has no idea, and the families want to keep it that way. Because if people knew the truth, it would destroy their carefully crafted reputations. It would raise uncomfortable questions. If the Delano family got rich selling drugs that destroyed millions of Chinese lives, how is FDR a hero? If the Forbes family made their fortune poisoning China, why do we celebrate Malcolm Forbes? If Yale's Skull and Bones was funded by opium money, what does that say about American elite institutions? The cognitive dissonance would be too much, so the truth stays buried. Here's the
Okay. Anybody else got anything on that? So same thing with the scriptures, well, with the New Testament, same thing. They knew. They only knew the truth. Okay. Anybody?
Yeah, Mr. Lynn, I want to say the same thing about we're NASCAR. You know, NASCAR racing?
Right.
That came from bootlegging, going against the law.
Okay.
Kennedy family, right? That's what because they was always having to soup the cars up. You know, I mean, everything that's good, like you said, up is down, left is right. This is what they're doing. Everything that's could be good, they're turning bad.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
That's something. Yeah, so we're gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody got any questions, comments, any dialogue, any testimony they want, anything they want, they want to talk about it? We can do it right now.
Oh, shalom, brother Leonard. You you were talking about the other day about the male has the seed, and when we was reading in the book of Gad, when you had did that class, in the chapter of the Moabite, when I guess when Hiram or whatever came to David and asked could he come into the temple,
Right.
and but then he asked, well, okay, in verse. Okay, this brother, this is chapter 3 of that book of Gad, in verse 3, and he says, and we cannot speak your peace nor your posterity, but how can I help you today? The servant answered, is it not true that Ruth was of our people, and you are one of her children and descendants, and the Lord has chosen you and your descendants forever? Then said he, you have given a convincing argument. Stand here with me to ask from my mouth of my Lord. And David asked the Lord about the statement of the Moabite servant. And David said, O Lord, Lord of hosts, teach me the wondrous things out of your law, so that I may know how to rule for this servant, and what should be done with him. And the Lord said to Nathan the prophet, go tell David my servant, and tell him the message that I tell you. And Nathan went to David to his chamber, saying, this is what the Lord of hosts says, I have heard your prayer, so tell the Moabite, you are a Moabite man, not a Moabite woman. For I have never said a Moabite woman and an Ammonite woman, because their women and daughters belong to the Lord. However, you are cursed by the Lord and are forbidden to enter the Lord's assembly. When the Moabite heard the message of the Lord, he cried and exclaimed, I am forbidden from entering the assembly of the Lord. And so Brother Leonard, my question in reading that though, because when we were doing that class, you were breaking down how the male has the seed, so that this is why David is not a Moabite, right? Because the the Hebrew lineage is through the male and not through the mitochondria, right?
Right, exactly. They just like he said, help me.
Mm-hmm.
The man got the seed. They helping him. They actually assisted him in bringing the seed forth into like he said, the matrix. They come to the seed come to their womb.
Right.
That's a big part of who they are. They helpmates. To help him. And like I was just saying earlier, it's two men. You know, the 6 day man and Adam descendants. He said, "Be fruitful and multiply."
Mm-hmm.
And then we see today how these are all these other people, these other races, how they having issues with their reproduction
Mm-hmm.
because they origins ain't the same origins that the 6 day man and the man, especially Adam's descendants. They got a different origin than these people.
That's why he told them, don't mingle thy seed. Because we at that time right now. They slowing down. So now here gonna mingling. Here they come.
Right. And so if you go to when you first of all, when you understand who the Lord of Hosts is, how he operates, when he multiplied Israelites, and we was looking at in the book of Joshua how that he had accomplished that. When they got ready to cross over into the land of Jordan, he told them, "I've accomplished the promise, the oath that I made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because you hear right now is a multitude, like the stars of the sky, like the sands of the sea and the stars in the sky. He had accomplished that. So these other nations, and then when the curses came, he says, I'm gonna reduce this great multitude, this buzzing multitude that you see, I'm gonna reduce it down to nothing. That's what the curse is all about. So you say, what are you talking about? Well, you're doing the same thing to the Gentiles. You're reducing them. That's what we had.
Deuteronomy, you said that hey, the curses are shifting.
Right. And then he reduced it. He bringing their population to a standstill. I mean, and the same thing happened with the giants. That was the purpose of the flood. That's why we ain't seeing. That's why we don't see that many giants no more.
And that's crazy you said that, Mr. Leonard, because the Giants had to see their children self-destruct.
Right.
They watching their children. Who's the ones that's really wilding out? Let's just say schools and all this other stuff, right?
Right.
They get to watch it.
Exactly.
The destruction.
Right.
Just like the Giants had to watch their children through Enoch.
Exactly.
And the angel. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else got anything? Question, comments, any dialogue?
Oh, and Brother Leonard, I have another question, a separate question. When it comes to in Genesis 2, when the Lord God formed Adam, right? The Creator, the Most High, couldn't have done that, right? Because no one can see His face, right?
Right.
So because I was talking to somebody, I don't know if they watching. I sent them the link out, but how could the Creator have blown into Adam's nostrils and then Adam became alive? Then he would have killed him right then.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So when you understand about those seven angels, and then in Genesis chapter 6, it says, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." Then you can see who that is that's doing all that. And like I was saying, one of the examples, when you understand that our scriptures and the knowledge that we had in the beginning that we got from our forefathers, it was scattered just like we was. And so you can find that information. You don't know where you're gonna find it. It's just that you got to deal with it when you come across it. Your spirit, your DNA is gonna deal with it. And that story about how that happened it's in the book of Bartholomew, where he tell the whole story how Michael, just like we see him doing in Daniel, commanding those other six in Ezekiel chapter 9, verses 1 through 6, whatever. He's commanding those other six. So that's the same thing going on in Genesis. In Genesis chapter 2. And Genesis in 126. He's
Hey,
commanding
Mr. Leonard.
and was there.
And if that we understand that if that's the case, then let's make them an image and likeness of us. If that's the case, that's the creator, not the redeemer. Then the creator is a silhouette of fire. So that's what we would be, correct?
Right. Yeah, we'll be a consuming fire.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
how does that work?
Right. So like I was saying, when he says Cain killed Abel, then Adam went back to Eve, and Adam had another son in his likeness, in his image. So uh, uh, Adam's likeness is not fire. He's made lesser than an angel. Just like just like Michael, he was like Yahweh. He's not. He don't have all the power and everything that Yahweh have, but he's like Yahweh. So then when they came and made man is lesser than them. So when Adam went back to Eve and had a self was made in his image, which is lesser. That's how you got to look at that. Even with my understanding of when he talked to the woman, he said that it's going to be enmity between thy seed and her seed. But when you understand that she don't have a seed, but other women like her, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be, and then we can see that it's on that side. It's enmity between, even in Genesis chapter 6. It's issues going on with the dad and the woman. So that's, I mean, you know, that's what how I'm looking at that, because of that he made, she got an image just like the man got an image. The man have male parts. She don't have a male part, so what another woman would be in her image. See what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying.
That make perfect sense, Mr. Leonard. Perfect sense.
Right. When we see that happening over and over again, but we ain't paying no attention to it. But you know, we can, when he says in my image, you know what I'm saying? They're being made, and the angels when he formed them angels, you know what I'm saying? They was made in his image, but they didn't have the same power that he had. Only Michael was closest it was to him, but he wasn't. You know, he has the ability to be. That's why they had the ability to shapeshift, because they can show themselves as a flame of fire, just like the Creator did in Ezekiel chapter 1, when Ezekiel described him, and Michael did the same thing in Exodus chapter 3 on Mount Horeb. He showed himself as a flame of fire. Well, we don't have that ability. So when it says that we was made in their likeness, then we ain't like them, but they made in Yah likeness. Those 7 angels. We don't have the ability to do what they doing, because we're not made in Yah image. We made in their image. Okay, so yeah. Go back to what we was talking about a couple of classes ago, when I was breaking down, listening to different people talking, and they way of not understanding that they blocking the understanding from getting to the next level. They holler about, yeah, God ain't but one glory, ain't but one throne. No, we already see it's more than one throne. It's more than one glory. Michael got a glory. David got a glory.
All praise. And then that's that stiff neck, right?
Oh, exactly. So you can't. I mean, that's like I say, that's actually that's 01. But you know, they keeping themselves from expanding on their understanding, because they coming up with rhetorical ass bullshit that you know what I'm saying, that stopping them from getting understanding. So I'm gonna deal with it in a minute when I play this video on Enoch, the book of Enoch and Metatron. Okay. Somebody, you got anything else? Any questions? Any other comments?
No, sir. I'm good. I'm listening.
No, sir.
So you good, AJ?
Yes, sir. I'm good.
Yeah. I've been playing this for the last couple of days. I'm just trying to get it out there, but at the same time, create some conversation on it too. But here we go. It's about this blackout they got playing for November 25th to December 2nd. Here we go.
Here's a PSA. I'm not buying anything for the holidays except for formula, because I'm not getting WIC next month. Okay? I'm not buying nothing. I suggest you don't buy anything either. Holiday season is canceled. Do you hear me? Canceled. We should boycott Christmas. That's what's going to hurt them. Fine. We can't all do a general strike. I get it. Let's boycott Christmas. We don't need material things anyway. It's 2025. Do you really want to buy all this stuff from the companies that laid everyone off this year? I don't think so. What we want is more time anyway, with our families, with our friends. If you work that day, call off, call in sick. Let's boycott Christmas. We can do this.
Let's hurt him where it really counts. Come on, we got this.
From November 25th, 2025, this year, to December 2nd, they're calling it a mass blackout. Not a march, not a protest, no signs necessary. It's 1 week where we pull our dollars out of the system and see what happens when the economy feels the weight of our absence. Because we've marched, we've begged, most of us voted the right way. And now we're just going to sit back and test the one thing this country truly worships: money. See, this isn't the first time we've tried this, right? Economic boycotts have always been the heartbeat of real change. From Montgomery to Operation Breadbasket. When the buses lost money, segregation fell. When companies realized ignoring Black consumers meant losing profit, they started hiring, promoting, and pandering. History has already shown us that pulling our dollars hits harder than any speech, any march, any protest ever could. The timing isn't random. Black Friday is the biggest spending weekend in America. Billions get poured into corporations that barely reinvest in the communities that made them rich in the first place. So from November 25th to December 2nd, the goal is simple, okay? Buy nothing that doesn't circulate back into us. You hear me? Support small, support local, support Black. Because when we withhold our dollars, we remind this country that we're not just consumers. We are the economy. So yeah, the mass blackout isn't about canceling Christmas or skipping joy. It's about shifting power and realizing that every dollar that we spend is a vote for the world that we live in. They've ignored our voices. They've ignored our pain. Let's see if they ignore our absence. We're not asking anymore. We are shutting this shit down, okay? No spending. If you do need something, make sure you go to farmers market, support small businesses. There's a ton of places that you can go to make sure you support the right people, not corporations. We are done. We're done.
Yeah, I think Christmas is canceled this year. No Black Friday, no Cyber Monday, none of them bullshit sales prices that they try to pass on for people. Don't nobody else need no more TVs. We don't need no more TVs. TVs getting cheaper, but food getting higher. That's crazy. I just saw a 60-inch in Walmart for like $250. I'm not bullshitting. I'm telling you, the American people have the opportunity over the next 2 quarters to completely cripple these corporations. Because this is the holiday season, ain't nobody buying no turkeys, ain't nobody buying no Hot Wheels, none of them Barbie dream houses. And then come tax season, next quarter, ain't nobody buying and splurging on nothing else. And of course, election season is coming up. If they suffer for 2 straight quarters, 2 of the most important quarters of either one of their fiscal years, I'm telling you, man, these corporations gonna completely put their money behind the Democrats. They're gonna put their money behind all them folks in blue. And if there's one thing I know about the corporate level, they want their money. All right, their favorite color is green. They don't care nothing about red and blue. They're opportunists. They want that bread. And here's the thing: we can buy all the necessities as long as we don't buy all that extra shit. They're gonna suffer hard.
And while we're on task, go ahead and cancel Christmas. Go on and start that family chat and let them know that you're not exchanging gifts this year. Hopefully everybody in your family is on board. And I know you're thinking about the kids. Well, Facebook Marketplace. If you're going to buy something for somebody, buy something small and local.
This months ago about how we are protesting with our dollars, and that is our power. And I'm getting the sense that some of you all feel hopeless. Well, Rod, the corporations already control all of our lives. That's what they want you to think. We have been indoctrinated in capitalism to be consumers. But that is where our power lies, y'all, where we choose to spend our money. Let me give you all proof. I don't care about this man one way or the other, but Jimmy Kimmel. It wasn't too long ago that he was yanked off the air for criticizing the felon in chief. Do you know what all those white folks did? They didn't go out in the street and holding up signs. We protest what has happened to Jimmy Kimmel out in the street. What they did was they said, we're not spending our money with Disney. They canceled Disney vacations, including cruises, trips to Disneyland, Disney World. They canceled Disney Plus, ESPN, Hulu. Disney lost an estimated $6 billion in 1 week. Did you see how fast they reversed course? Oh, no, wait, we love Jimmy Kimmel. It was all a misunderstanding that he is back on the air. That is the most recent proof I can give you that is how we make our voices heard. But I have young kids and it's Christmas. So now is the perfect time to teach your children what is truly important and not to grow up to be mindless consumers. And if you must buy them gifts, give them the gifts of knowledge through books. It doesn't matter what age there are. And there are Black authors that are writing books in almost every genre you can think of. Children's books, picture books, fantasy, science fiction, romance for older kids and young adults, and adults too. And stop giving in to all of the marketing hoopla that you are bombarded with. If we stay the course and hit all of these corporations in these next 2 quarters, the most important fiscal quarters of their year, we will see a reverse course of many, many things.
So I've been hearing rumblings about a mass blackout this holiday season that's supposed to run from November 25th to December 2nd. And I'm all here for it 100%. Thanksgiving is canceled. Black Friday is canceled. These corporations shouldn't see 1 cent of our fucking money. But I do have a question though, right? Why are we only limiting this shit to 1 week instead of indefinitely? The whole holiday season should be canceled, in my opinion. These motherfuckers don't deserve our money. Not when these corporations go out of their way to lobby against the interests of the American people, also that they can make a dollar. Not when these corporations and these businesses and these 1%ers engage in unethical and predatory business practices to extract even more wealth from the middle and lower class, all the while dodging their own fucking taxes. We shouldn't just be trying to teach them a lesson for a week. We should be teaching them a lesson until they learn that ultimately, fuck what them shareholders are talking about. We are the consumer. You get your money from us. And without us, you're nothing. This shit should be the target boycott on steroids, not just for a week, not just for 2 weeks, for as long as it takes until they learn the lesson they need to ultimately learn. We got to be real comfortable with not getting what we want. We got to be real comfortable with being uncomfortable. We got to get comfortable with making compromises and sacrifices if we want anything to change. And most importantly, we got to identify where we're actually appreciated as far as businesses are concerned, whether that be local or small business. Either way, we got to learn where to direct our dollars such that they are not used against us. I'm all for blackout, but a week ain't enough. A week is not enough.
You have no business.
Okay. Any feedback on that? What you think?
Yeah, I was listening to it, and you know what I think is you can't win. Why you playing around? To me, that's like playing around. I get it. They want to protest the government or something. All Esau gonna do is shut you down, just like Walmart talking about. You're gonna have to pre-order your stuff because they talking about rioting and all of that. So all they're gonna do is starve you out. You know, you got to wait on the Redeemer. You still got to live, but wait on the Redeemer. All praise.
Okay. What you got, AJ?
Well, for me, I mean, I just couldn't imagine trying to find some money to buy some Christmas gifts. But I don't remember the last time I celebrated Christmas or anything like that. But in a way though, it's good that I know the people in the clips, you know, they just looking at it money wise and uh trying to teach the corporations a lesson. But at the same time must participate in pagan holidays. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good thing. We defiling ourselves doing that.
Exactly. Right. Okay, yeah. So I mean another way to look at that too is uh the creative. Creative could be putting it on their mind. You know what I'm saying? Because it
Yes,
displays
sir.
God.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
I
I
look at it like that too. So yeah. So with that being said, like I said, I'm gonna get to the meat of this class. We'll be dealing with the book of Enoch and Metatron. Anybody familiar with Metatron?
Yeah, I
uh,
heard of them. Old
right.
school. Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Megatron. He was in me and my other buddy used to read on it. It was like they God or they savior. And just like in Transformers, you know, it was a war going on. from what
Right,
I
right.
understand.
Okay. What you got, AJ? You got anything on that? What you think Metatron is?
Metatron, the Enoch, the what
Yeah.
from what I have read. I'm sorry, sir.
Third book of Enoch.
Okay, yeah. From what I understand, that Metatron is Enoch. Like I think when I read it, it said like that he changed to an angel or something, and then that's supposed to be his name.
Right.
Once his whatever his figure that wasn't human anymore, whatever he was transformed into, his name was changed to Metatron from what I think I know.
Right, right. So like I was saying before, what so many people don't understand, like the guy was talking earlier about these so-called elite in America. They got the money, that the wealth they got in diabolical ways, and then they came back and they wrote all that out. They wrote all up, cleaned it all up, came with a whole nother history, wrote themselves out of the opium trade and all that, but that's where all the money came from. And so they did the same thing with the New Testament and with JC. When you understand, people hear it, but they don't make the connection, and then they don't understand how long the third beast existed. They don't know how long. They don't know when it started, especially when it started, and then when it ended. And so these Greeks came. They had a characteristic other than a lot different than the first beast and the second beast, because they came changing everything, what they call Hellenization. Anything they came into, anything they came across, whether it was a cultural, religious, or warfare, whatever, they morphed into it. They brought it into their civilization, and that's how we got. That's why the world is where it's at today, really, because we're still dealing with that. Because the book of Daniel says about the. Let me read that. I don't want to paraphrase it. I think it's in chapter 8. Let me get it. Daniel chapter 8. Let me see. So it says, Daniel chapter 8. This is he's dealing with the fourth beast, right? It says, I start at 19. Then I will know the truth of the fourth beast. It's Daniel 8 and 7 and 19. Then I will know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and nails of brass, which devour and break in pieces and stomp the residue with his feet, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose looks were more stout than his fellows. So when you understand this right here, and you go to history, the Roman Empire, which is the beast that received the wound in the head, was sacked. Rome was sacked. The head of the four beasts was sacked, and the Roman Empire was divided into 4 parts, 4 different rulers. Constantine was one of them. So, like it says right here, it was Constantine subdued the other 3, and he brought the beast back, which is he started out the Roman Republic. After Constantine finished with it, when he concocted the New Testament and JC, then it became the Holy Roman Empire. So it received the womb in the head, and then still lived. He brought it back to life with Christianity. So 21, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came. So Constantine is this person. Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. This is Ezekiel 37. When a dead person is a saint when they resurrected. So the saints came back and took the kingdom, right? 22. Until the Ancient of Days came, judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. That's Ezekiel 37 and Isaiah 66. And the time came that the saints possess the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms, and it shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, break it into pieces. And the 10 horns out of that kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. We just read that. That's comforting, right? 25, and he shall speak great words. This is counsel Nelsia. He shall speak great words against the Most High, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times, change the Sabbath to Sunday, right? Change times and laws, took away our laws, and they shall be given unto him, to his hand until a time, and dividing the time. So right now, we're dealing with what Constantine did. When he brought JC in, he brought the New Testament in. We're still dealing with that. Right here, what he said. Let me read it again. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand. It comes until the times, and dividing the time. But the judgment, here you go, the judgment shall see, still going to be set in place, and they shall take away the saints, Ezekiel 37. They shall take away his dominion to consume and destroy it until the end. And the kingdom and dominion of and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints, to the Israelites, to the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. So this right here, this I mean, when it's rightly divided, it's right in your face. So that's the purpose of Ezekiel 37. Bring the saints back. They're gonna take David's kingdom back. David is over them when you look at Isaiah chapter 66. He resurrected the saints, all our forefathers that we knew. But before he do that, he resurrected David. Let's look at that right quick. Then it's the reason I'm doing this. So then you go to Ezekiel 37. Right quick. Isaiah, my bad. Go to Isaiah 66. Make a point on this, then we get back over where I was at. So then you go to Isaiah 66, right? And you'll see that verse 5, Isaiah 66. Hear the words of the Lord. Ye that tremble at his words, your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. A voice of noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice of the Lord that renders recompense to his enemies. Before she travailed, that's where all them at, in the ground. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pains came, she was delivered of a man child. That's David right here. Then 8. Who have heard such a thing? Who have seen such a thing? Shall the earth, so we see right here, take you right to Isaiah 37. That's where all our forefathers at, in the ground, in the earth. Shall the earth be made to bring forth? What's in the earth? Our forefathers, saints, bring forth in one day, or shall a nation be born at once? Ezekiel 37. For as soon as Zion travaileth, she brought forth all her children. That's all our forefathers that we've been reading about. Shall the Lord talking? Shall I bring to birth and not to cause to bring forth, said the Lord? Shall I cause to bring forth and shut the womb, said the Lord? He's talking to us. Rejoice ye with Jerusalem, right? And be glad with her. All ye that love her, rejoice for joy with her. All ye that mourn for her, that you may suck and be satisfied with the breast of her consolation. That's all our forefathers. That you may milk out and be delighted with the abundance of her glory. So my point is this: we see right here that he's gonna resurrect our fathers. Another precept to that is Malachi chapter 4. When he the purpose that Elijah didn't die. Elijah, when the Lord of hosts does this right here, when heaven does this, raise our forefathers up, Elijah is there to bring the fathers back to the children, we the children that's alive, the descendants. Then he's going to resurrect our forefathers, Elijah's job is to mediate between that. So that's what that is. So anyway, reason why we don't understand none of that is because of Hellenization. So I want to give you a prime example of Hellenization, how we got JC, how JC came into existence, how JC came into existence, and how we even thinking the way we thinking, because we ain't thinking like Hebrew. We're thinking like what they've injected into us, right? So here we go. This is Enoch wrote a book, but Enoch didn't write this. So just like they attached the New Testament to the Tanakh, they attached this third Enoch to the book of Enoch. Okay, here we go. And in the process of playing this video, I'm gonna be stopping it, but you're gonna see how JC came into existence. Okay, here we go. Okay.
What if you could become more than human?
Okay. That's the Greeks think. Like I was telling you about how to rightly divide. Our prophets ain't doing this. Okay, this Greek thought.
Not in some distant afterlife, not as a vague metaphor, but right now, in this body, ascending through the heavens until your flesh dissolves into fire and you emerge as something divine. What if the boundary between mortal and angel was not a wall, but a ladder waiting to be climbed? Picture this. A man walks with God, just as the book of Genesis tells us. But unlike every other mortal, he does not die. Instead, he ascends. The seven heavens open before him like nested chambers of light. Angels bow as he passes.
So you gotta understand, they didn't know none of this till they got a hold of our records. They ain't know nothing about no damn seven heavens, none of that, till they got hold of our records, right? Remember what happened at the Tower of Babel? He said, the imagination of man's mind. Okay.
His body begins to change. His skin erupts in flames. His eyes become burning wheels. His name is erased and rewritten. When the transformation is complete, he is no longer Enoch, the seventh from Adam. He is Metatron, the angel who sits on a throne beside God himself, bearing the...
So like I was saying before, just like Peter, Paul, Matthew, Mark, them ain't no damn Hebrew name. So right there, it's already a problem right there. So Metatron, that ain't got shit to do with Hebrew. Let that family.
The name of the divine and commanding legions of celestial beings. Some call him...
He already got a being up there. The first being he created doing all this. What they saying.
Him the lesser YHWH. Others whisper that he has become what humans were always meant to be. This is not a story Christians or mainstream Jews widely tell. It comes from two ancient texts, 2nd Enoch and 3rd Enoch, documents that exist at the edge of orthodoxy, preserved by Slavic scribes and Hebrew mystics. They describe something that should not be possible.
This is what I was talking about, dealing with the other day about the Maseratis, Hebrew mystics. Okay, these ain't no Hebrews. This ain't on our forefathers. Okay.
A human being who transcends his nature and becomes an angel. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, actually. Are these texts authentic echoes of an ancient mystery tradition that imagined human apotheosis?
No.
Or are they later Mystical inventions reflecting the dreams of ecstatic visionaries? Did the Jews of antiquity really believe a man could become an archangel?
No.
Or is this a mystical fantasy born from centuries of esoteric speculation?
It's the same thing Job doing that I was telling you about. It's that you spot when they didn't got hold to our scriptures right here. Same thing Job doing.
And why does this story of a human becoming divine resonate so powerfully across cultures, from ancient mystery religions to modern transhumanism? Today, we're going to ascend through the heavens with Enoch, witness his transformation into Metatron, and explore one of the most radical ideas ever preserved in religious literature.
Okay, I want to shine a light on this because it's got to be, the light got to be shined on it. So we see right here, this how this the makings of, once they got hold to our records, this the makings of JC. So go to the Mount of the Transfiguration. Same where they concocted this, they did the same thing with JC on the Mount of Transfiguration. Okay.
Beings might transcend their mortal limits and become something luminous, powerful, and eternal.
They're going to tell on their own self
in a second Enoch, a righteous man is taken on a journey through the celestial realms, and what he discovers challenges every assumption about the barrier between human and divine. The story begins simply enough. Enoch is lying in bed. He is 365 years old, a number that matches the days of the solar year, already hinting at cosmic significance. Suddenly,
so they ain't know that. Like I said, they ain't know Enoch was 365 years old. Till he got out to our records.
Two enormous figures appear before him. Their faces shine like the sun. Their eyes are like burning lamps. Their wings are brighter than gold. They tell Enoch that the eternal Lord has summoned him. What follows is not a death, but an abduction into higher reality. Enoch rises through the first heaven, then the second, ascending through layers of cosmic architecture that ancient scribes could barely describe. Each heaven contains wonders, the storehouses of snow and ice, the rulers of the stars, the Garden of Eden, the tree of life, the place where the righteous dead await resurrection. But these are merely the outer chambers. By the time Enoch reaches the seventh heaven, he stands before the throne of God itself. And here, something unprecedented happens. God commands the archangel Michael to strip Enoch of his earthly garments and anoint him with holy oil. The text says the oil is like sweet dew, but its effect is transformative. Enoch looks at himself and discovers he has become like one of the glorious ones.
Oh, right there. Let's hold it right there. Check this out. Like I said, it's a dead cat on the line. So you go to Isaiah 43. Like I said, they ain't know none of this till they got hotel records. Then they Hellenized it. Like I said, they use typology and this Greek mysticism and all that, and that's how they got Metatron, and then from Metatron, that's how they even got Serapis. That's how then from this right here, what they're doing right here, is how they brought JC into existence. But it was after they got hold to our understanding of the scriptures. Okay, so right here, like for Isaiah, when you go to Gabriel overshadowed Mary. That's not Hebrew. That's them. So anyway, I lost my train of thought. Let me go back to yeah, Isaiah 43. Tripping. Okay, so I'm in Isaiah 43. Get it. Tripping. Okay, 43. Check this out. So this coming out of mouth, this coming out of Michael's mouth. I'm always reading this. This is Isaiah 43:10. Ye are my witnesses, said the Lord, Michael, and my angel. He's made out of fire. He says, he said, and ye are my witnesses, said the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me. Well, that kill that. Okay, but we're gonna keep proceed forward.
Like an angel. But is this the end of his transformation, or only the beginning? Second Enoch, preserved in old Slavonic manuscripts,
Right.
gives us the
we ain't Slavic. We ain't Slavic.
Journey. Third Enoch, a later Hebrew text, gives us the terrifying culmination. Let's pause here and ask a question that would have been heretical to many ancient readers. If Enoch can become an angel, what does that say about the nature of humanity?
See where you're going?
Are humans fundamentally different from angels? Or are we simply angels?
You decimate the Most High understanding and Hebrew understanding right here, just like in Job.
Who have forgotten how to ascend? The journey Enoch takes is not unique to Jewish mysticism.
Yeah.
In Greco-Roman mystery religions, initiates underwent symbolic deaths and rebirths,
check it out,
emerging as beings touched by divinity.
Let me rewind this.
Hermes Trismegistus,
check it out again.
In the Hermetic, that would have been heretical to many ancient readers. If Enoch can become an angel, what does that say about the nature of humanity? Are humans fundamentally different from angels? Or are we simply angels who have forgotten how to ascend? The journey Enoch takes is not unique to Jewish mysticism.
Yeah, you're right.
In Greco-Roman mystery religions, initiates underwent symbolic deaths and rebirths, emerging as beings touched by divinity.
Come on.
Hermes Trismegistus, in the Hermetic corpus, describes ascending through the planetary spheres, shedding mortal qualities at each level until only pure divine intellect remains.
That's how we get JC, all the
In the
bullshit.
Mithraic
In the New
mysteries,
Testament.
initiates climbed a 7-runged ladder, representing the 7 planets, each rung a stage of spiritual purification. Even early Christian ascent literature, texts like the Ascension of Isaiah, describe prophets rising through heavenly realms, witnessing secrets forbidden to ordinary mortals. What makes the Enochic tradition distinctive is its insistence that this ascent is not merely visionary or spiritual. Enoch's body itself is transformed. His flesh becomes fire. His transformation is ontological, not metaphorical. The 7 heavens that Enoch traverses are not abstract concepts, but architectural realities in ancient cosmology.
My dad burned all his jeans after I gifted him these.
Any comments so far?
First heaven contains.
Anybody got anything? Okay.
Means the winds and weather. The second holds the imprisoned fallen angels, the watchers who sinned by mating with human women.
Yeah, where do you get that from?
The third heaven is paradise itself, both the Garden of Eden and the place of future reward. Higher still are the heavens of celestial mechanics, where the sun and moon run their courses, and finally the seventh heaven, where God dwells in unapproachable light. This cosmology was not unique to the Enochic texts. It appears in various forms throughout Second Temple Judaism and early Christianity. The Apostle Paul speaks of being caught.
Both of them Edomites. Second Temple. That's remember they didn't done away with Zerubbabel Temple. So it's Solomon Temple, the inherited temple. They waiting on the third temple. So what he just said was Edomites and Christians, Greeks, which ties to the, like I said, the Masoretic text. Okay.
Up to the third heaven, where he heard inexpressible things. The Testament of Levi describes a similar sevenfold ascent. The Apocalypse of Abraham shows the patriarch rising through celestial realms.
So this is a perfect example of what I said about typology. So they didn't have this information, but now they got it. It's Hebrew. Now they injecting JC in it, or Metatron, or whoever you want. They inject them in there because now they got the scriptures. So they're able to inject them in there. Now it looks like it's Hebrew. Okay. They ain't no shit about no seventh heaven and none of that till they got hold of our scriptures. Okay.
These texts share is the conviction that heaven is not a single, undifferentiated place, but a hierarchy of increasingly divine spaces. But here's what's radical. In most ascent texts, the visionary remains fundamentally human. They visit heaven and return. Enoch doesn't return, he stays. And in staying, he changes. The transformation begins subtly in Second Enoch.
Okay, let's look at that right quick. Ezekiel 37, all our forefathers. What is it? Can somebody answer that?
The saints that in heaven.
Right. Did this right here happen to them?
No.
Okay. See what I'm saying? So there we go, right there. What are you talking about?
Enoch is anointed.
Like I said, he got a son. Same shit right here. He got a son that's hidden in the bosom. He ain't got no son hidden in the bosom. He's just saying that right here. He's just saying that. But he got our records. So he's able to put shit in there that sound Hebrew, then he inject this in it. This how we get to where we are today, what we dealing with now. Negroes arguing over it, and all of it is garbage. Okay?
It's clothed in garments of glory. He is given knowledge of all things, past, present, and future. God reveals to him the secrets of creation.
We already read all this, ain't we? Ain't this what Michael did with Moses? Huh? Ain't Michael doing this with Moses?
Yeah, yes, sir. He did.
Okay.
All praise.
The movements of the stars, the duration of the world. Enoch becomes a cosmic scribe, writing down 360 books of divine wisdom. For 40 days, he dictates to his sons everything he has learned. And then he ascends again, this time permanently. The text says simply, they took Enoch up to heaven. But what happened after that moment? Second Enoch ends without telling us the final act of the transformation.
This is what I was saying right here. This is how they operate when you pick game on it. You know, creative. So, Adam, the serpent came to and told Adam, it's another woman came out. He didn't transform, he didn't shapeshift into Lilith. Then he tells Lucifer, he tells the way to deceive Adam was that while you was asleep, while you was asleep, I came out. I'm Eve's sister. While the Most High had you sleep. So right here, he said that it's not mentioned in second Enoch, right? But you got all the books. We ain't got access to none of the books. But you come, like I said, and just say that the seventh, it wasn't described to us, or it wasn't shown to us at the end of the second Enoch. Okay.
For that, we need to turn to Third Enoch, a text written centuries later.
Centuries later. Come on. Centuries later. Get that from me.
But claiming to reveal what happened when Enoch finally shed his human nature completely. Was this always part of the story, or did later mystics invent the Metatron mythology to answer questions the earlier text left open? That's the mystery we'll explore next.
That's Hellenization. Not no mystery. That's Hellenization.
Same thing with JC. Then they say nobody. They didn't even start writing about JC for so many years after.
Like I said, that's where all these so-called they talk about the Maserati text, all that, them Edomites, Edomite, Greco-Edomites. That's all it is. They done mingled together. Esau, they became one. Esau and Cain's descendants became one. Rome, Chechem, which is out of Cain's lineage, became one with Edomites. That's how you get Rome. That's what this is. And after they got hotel records, they was able to do all this. And that's what we're looking at. So like I said, even you can even see
the transformation.
Like you were saying earlier, tells that Metatron, not Metatron, but the Transformers. That's where the Transformers come from. Come on.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Come on.
So radical, might do too. The ancient dream of transformation has not died. It has migrated into new forms, from psychological self-actualization to technological transhuman.
So like I said, all this coming from a homosexual mind. Let that from me. So look, I'm in Deuteronomy 32. Let me get it right quick. Read this. So it says 32. It says 16, 32 and 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With the abomination, they provoked him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not. New gods that came newly up, whom your fathers knew not. This is when they got out our records. These new gods, new
and they manipulated them with the wood and stone. JC and the Muslims with that cobblestone.
Exactly. So you couldn't get JC until they got hotel records. That's a new god. When you understand Hellenization, okay? The Greek thought, okay?
Humanism, each grappling with the same question: can we become more than human?
Right.
If you told the ancient Merkabah mystics that humans in the 21st century would be discussing how to upload consciousness.
So that's why we're gonna stop it right there. So that's the difference in, like I was saying, when you go to breaking down who the self-serving is, and you go to Numbers 18, it tells you that he told Aaron, the priest, go and get the Levites, your brethren, and y'all become one, and y'all gonna be the ones, my word is gonna come through y'all. So these same Edomites came to Jerusalem. They wanted to help them build a temple. They said, no, you can't build a temple. You don't know how to You don't have the right lineage, the right makeup. You know nothing. DNA, your DNA ain't right. You can't help us build a temple. So the same thing right here. They asking all these bullshit questions, and then from that they coming with more and more bull crap. The Levite ain't there. The Hebrew ain't there to cut their ass off. So they ask a dumbass question, and then from that they come up with these ideologies and concepts, because the man that the Most High have in place and understood all that wasn't there to cut him off. They had to get him out the way first. And like he said, at the Tower of Babel, at the imagination of their mind, they concocting these. That man that the Creator got there is not there to cut them off when they ask these dumbass questions. Okay. So, with that being said, anybody have any questions or comments?
No, sir.
All right. So, if you want to go watch that, is go to YouTube. It's the Book of Enoch 7, Metatron and the fire that made man divine. So just listen to that. Metatron and the fire that made man divine. Let that sink in. Okay, so we're gonna pick a scripture, and then we're gonna read that scripture, and then we'll break it down. Then we'll close out. Somebody got a scripture they want to shine light on? Shalom. Okay. Somebody got a scripture they want to shine light on?
Shalom, brother Leonard. Is that Hosea where the Lord of Hosts told? I think it's Hosea where the Lord of Hosts told him to go get a daughter from Gomer or something like that.
Yeah. He told Hosea to go find a promiscuous woman, a whore.
Okay. Right. Okay. So Hosea, I guess verse 2, in the beginning of the word of the Lord by Hosea, and the Lord said to Hosea, go take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms, for the land hath committed a great whoredom, departing from the Lord. So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son. And so brother Lynn, the only reason I just thought about this though was because of the Moabite thing. Because I remember the class you was breaking this down, I had always wondered why Jose did that. Because I'm like, why would he go get a strange daughter? Even though the Lord of Hosts told him to do it, I was wondering why the Lord of Hosts why would it be okay for him to go have strange daughters? But the male has the seed. But can you kind of break it down? Can you say it more clear for me?
Why he's using Hosea because what he wants Hosea to do is go get an unfaithful woman, because that's what he got. Israel became an unfaithful woman. So when he brought them out of Egypt and he said, I found you out in the open, and you had a newborn, and I swallowed you with clean clothes, dressed you, gave you, put clothes on you, and decked you with all kind of gold and silver, and then you betrayed me. Mm-hmm. So he wants Hosea to understand that why he's gonna do what he's gonna do to the Israel, because he's saying he wants them to have that, to get that same understanding on what happens to a person when they betray. Mm-hmm. So that's why he wants them to get a harlot, because that's what he got. He got a harlot. Yeah, okay. That's the whole purpose of that, for Hosea to go through the whole process of what he went through. When you understand what happened with him, finally got to the point. Like I said, every time Israel would do something wrong, he still run and go get them. When they cry out, he'll run and go get them, bring them back. Then they go right back doing the same thing. That's what he wanted Hosea to find out. Until finally he had to cast us off for good. So that's what he's doing. And then, like I said, when you go read the whole story, you'll find out that Hosea had kids, and come to find out none of the kids wasn't even his. All of them for other men. They weren't none of his kids.
Wow.
All right. Ain't that something?
Wow. Okay, right, yes, sir.
All right. So that's what that was all about. Unfaithful mate.
Right.
So especially in that case, it was the unfaithful one. Right. So yeah. So I got a little video I'm gonna play for the close out. This got to do with, like I said, where we at, because we at that point, we getting ready to leave here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna play this and hope it do somebody some good.
Welcome back to a video. My name is Echo. This is the African Vanguard. On this channel, we're paving a new path forward.
So the name of this video is Trump and ICE is great for Africa. Trump and ICE is great for Africa.
In the diaspora. So I would just kind of come out and say that I think this age of Trump and the immigration process, the immigration nightmare that's happening, where people are being sexually assaulted, where people are being violently assaulted, whether they're legal residents or not, or I'm sorry, legal citizen or not. I think it's obviously scary and bad and unfortunate and should not be happening, but that's the reality that we're all apparently coexisting with it. It's unfortunate. It sucks. But at the same time, it is a fantastic opportunity. This is a fantastic opportunity because it presents every nation out there an opportunity to open their eyes to what the United States is, has always been, and always will remain to be. When they say this is America, this is a white country. It is a white Christian nation. They have been saying this for decades. This is a white Christian nation. Of course, constitutionally, that is not the case. But the truth be damned, they've been saying this for decades. And for decades, there's been a since, like, I don't know, since let's say Nixon, since Reagan, it has been a ever so blatant crawl towards the situation that we have today. And it took the election of a black man. It took an election of a black man for the sleeping giant to say, what is this? I do not want this Negro to be running this country. We need to take our country back. Make America great again. That is what gave us what we have today. So this is a great opportunity that allows all of us to see what they've been talking about all this time. Make America great again. Make it a racist country again, where white people continue. So, like, when we immigrants, when we minorities, like, want to be more represented, we want to have equal opportunity. That is legitimately a threat to the white establishment.
Exactly.
It makes the most incompetent, uneducated, lowest, poorest white person feel like, what? You're black and you own property? You're black and you speak better than me and you hold a degree and now you're going to be my boss and tell me what to do? What? Well, no. Even though I may be poor, I'm uneducated, I'm supposed to be, by design, better than the most educated black person. And that's unfortunately what it is. So again, this immigration enforcement, this current very stark, purest, realist version of America is a wake-up call to every foreign nation.
It's the Lord of hosts.
Especially every African, sub-Saharan African nation out there to, like, get your shit together.
Exactly.
Because once they get their house in order, they've deported everybody, And now they feel like, okay, we've further re-secured the political realignment and proportions of what they feel is an adequate representation of what the quantity of whiteness is back in the United States. And all the immigrants are deported back wherever they came from, which will mean in large part that the diaspora dollars that's been sent back home will decrease because people have been deported back. All this stuff, they prevented H-1 visa applications, so there's less revenue coming back and remittances are decreasing. So once they get that house in order, which means a white theocratic, a nationalist place, and the remainder of the small percent of legal U.S. immigrants who are still in the United States is further diminished, and they have new legal apparatus to further subjugate the diminished voting power, political power of the minorities. They're going to set their sights. They are going to set their sights on those foreign African countries, because remember, those foreign African countries are is basically the garden. It's the garden of where gold and lithium and all these different resources are kept at. So there will be new and creative policies to say, well, there's a Christian genocide happening in Nigeria, so we're going to use that as an opportunity to liberate those Christians. And that by liberate, go ask Iraq how that panned out, and Afghanistan, all those Middle Eastern countries. We really have a life plan, essentially, because I feel like a lot of us, I was brought here to the United States by my parents. So I mean, I didn't really have a choice in it. I am absolutely grateful. I am so grateful. Don't get me wrong. I am grateful. I did all the right things you're supposed to do, and I feel like with each right thing I did, it was a constant punch in the face all the time from different, as a millennial. Right, go to school, work hard, and then everything would just be easy for you for the rest of your life. It didn't turn out that way. Immediately, I was fortunate in the sense that right after the 2008 crisis happened, before I established a household, before I finished school. So I was like, oh, okay, so this is what's going on. And if I imagined myself, if I was 5 years older, I would have gotten a house, bought into the inflated prices of 2008 houses, and then my house value would have crashed ridiculously, and then I would be upside down in terms of the house I live in. So that would have sucked, and then have to wait like 5 to 10 years for the housing market to recover, which have been a lost opportunity and this and that. And then of course we had COVID that would happen. It just felt like things just kept on hitting us in the face. The biggest problem, I think, is affecting Africans because religion prevents Africans from really enjoying the ability to think. We have this programming of let's download Christianity, let's download Islam into our brains. And then downloading this Islam and Christianity is a philosophy of just believe whatever you're told.
Hellenization.
Believe whatever you're told and everything will be fine. No need for you to think. So if the pastor, who is being oftentimes manipulated by external sources, or themselves are just the biggest buffoons possible, which will then scam you from your hard-earned monies on every single Sunday and so forth. If you just believe what they're telling you, then everything will be fine. And be taxed. Your freaking, tithings they call it? Your tithings, your offerings is a tax upon the government taxes already. And you could be using that to be building something meaningful for your lives. But no. So instead of us adopting more philosophies that encourage thinking that is native to Africa, such as things like, I think the Yorubas have some, I forget the name of it, they have some versions of reincarnation and one consciousness that really they have more philosophy that's orientated. Africa has many philosophies that are orientated towards seeking truth, seeking information. No, instead we adopt one of the Abrahamic religions that forces us to think in very simple black and white and faith-oriented thought process where, well, if we're told something, therefore that is true. We're seeking higher authority and validation external to us, rather than recognizing ourselves as the source of information, as truth-seeking machines to understand.
Like I said, thinking like a Hebrew. Okay. Anybody got any feedback on that conversation? Like I said, it's you want to watch that. It was Trump and ICE is great for Africa. So like I said, it's creator, it's Yahweh, and the Lord of hosts running us out of here. Okay. Anybody got any comments or questions before we go? Okay.
No, sir.
Yeah, so with that, I'm gonna say shalom to everybody. We got our morning Shabbat class tomorrow, then we have our evening Shabbat class. So hopefully I'll see y'all there in the morning at 10 o'clock. Okay. Shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it, because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up, and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is, and the Godhead.